Hello, this is Sheila, and I'm just going to say a few words about obtaining images for your infographic. Now you can see I'm in the Assignment 1 folder about the infographic. And for your infographic, it's important that you use images that are legal, any image that is on the internet belongs to someone. And unless they've actually said that other people can use it, then you should not be using it, because it's very bad practice and it is illegal to use someone else's intellectual property. Just because something's on the internet, it does not mean that you can freely download it and use it. So towards the bottom of the page, I've put in 3 links. The first one is to open clip art. If you click on that, you'll see it's got clip art, which you can search. Someone in class was asking me about hamburgers. So if I type in hamburger, it gives me a lot of pictures of hamburgers, and these are ones which you can use, you can download and use legally in your infographic. It says it's by Chad78, and it is good practice to reference your images. Say who the author was. In this case, you can actually say what the date was and what the name of it was. And you'll put those with the other references. If the reference list is getting a bit long, and this is mentioned in the frequently asked questions, if the reference list is getting a bit long, you can put it on a separate sheet under your infographic, or you could draw a line and put all the information under there, and we'd know that we weren't to look at that when we're looking at the kind of aesthetics, when we're looking at the attractiveness of the infographic. But we are looking for everything being referenced and acknowledged, including the graphics. So going back to that, so that's clip art. Then for more photographic kind of images, I'm going to show you 2 ways. One of them is Google Advanced Image Search, and I put there a link directly to the search box for advanced image search. So again, I'm going to type in the word hamburger, and this was of someone who was thinking of doing an infographic to do with food. You can specify if you want particular colours, and also if you are looking for a particular format, like you want it to be a JPEG. I'm not going to answer that, but I'm going to alter this: usage rights, free to use or share. And so it's important for you to change this to free to use or share. So I'll click Advanced Search. It's the usual kind of Google display of graphics. So I might scroll through this, decide that one of these looks more attractive. So you can see there's quite a big range. I might decide I like this open one in a bun. Now what you then want to do is visit page. You want to see the image in the page. For one thing, you'll be able to download it better. For the other, you'll be able to just check to make sure that it actually is something you... And it says here, free download, license, public domain. And if I click on that, Creative Commons is something that's used by many people who create pictures as a way of licensing their pictures to be used. And it says here, the person who associated work with this deed has dedicated the work to the public domain by waiving all of his or her rights to the world worldwide. And so it's okay to use this image. You can, I think you could download the image and use it in your work. And it's by Circe Denia. So that's what you can do, is browse through, click on any ones that you think you might want to use, and as I said, in each case what you need to do is visit page and then look to make sure that actually it is an image you can reuse. These ones on Wikipedia are sometimes a bit problematic because they don't really make it clear where they got it from, so actually I tend to avoid them. But there's loads of hamburgers here, obviously. So the final option is Flickr, and you may know that Flickr is a big photo sharing site. On Flickr, you can't immediately go to the place where you can select ones which are licensed for you to use freely. You have to search first. So again, I'll search for hamburger. I'll search everyone's uploads. And then here you have some advanced options. You can look at what size they are. You can restrict them by date. I don't think we want videos of hamburgers. And this is the bit that I'm focusing on, any license. And you want all Creative Commons. So what you need to select is all Creative Commons. And what that will do is narrow it down to the ones that you can safely use. However, even though you're going to be able to safely use them, you're still going to need to give credit to the person who created it. So this hamburger looks rather horrid, I think, but you might want to illustrate overeating with some image like this. And I'm scrolling down and it says some rights reserved. So I want to see, is it okay for me to use? I click on that. And it says here, we're free to share, copy and redistribute the material in any medium or format, adapt, remix, transform. Under the following terms, you must give appropriate credit, provide a link to the license and indicate if changes were made. So I can use this, but I need to give credit to the person who created this photo. And as I said, this is good legal practice that you ought to get into, to saying, have I actually got the right to reuse this photo? If you get out into the business world and you start using other people's photos, you can end up being sued by them because you've infringed their intellectual property rights. So it's really good to get into this habit of using images legally. So if you were deciding to download, and on Flickr, what you would do is look at the size you wanted to use. For example, you might decide medium, this size is enough. And then you can open that size in Photo Viewer, and then you'd be able to make a copy of that file, save a copy of that file. And when you're giving the attribution, the author is Geoffrey Barry. That's who you'd have as the author. It was taken in 2005. And the name of the picture is Hamburger. And you'd also want to put the link to it. So you'd use that link. I think later on I'll show you some references of how you might reference photos. But anyway, those were the 3 ways of getting legal photos I wanted to demonstrate to you today.